Welcome, comrades, part 4, going forward about man. This time we talk about man and woman. We're going to just do a highlight over it. Maybe in the future we'll get into something more detailed. So man is has come in contact with God. Man has come into contact with animal kingdom. Man has come into contact with nature. Man is now on the scene where he is laboring to a certain degree. Not to the degree that I just explained in part 3, but we're going back to the creation part, and we're going to talk about the woman coming into place. Now, I said earlier in one of the chapters of Genesis, second chapter of Genesis, that the spirit being of the man and woman is basically created, because he talks about he created men his own image, created he, male and female, created he them, both male and female. So even though that was in the second chapter, when you get to the third chapter, then he starts talking about, if I'm not mistaken here, because I'm not looking at it right this moment, but let me see. Let's see if we get in the third. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. I don't want to get none of these theologians jump down my throat. Okay, yeah. In the second chapter, toward the end, he says, of the knowledge of the tree of good and evil, touch not. He commanded that before the woman was there. So when we get to chapter 3, no. At the end of chapter 2, he forms the woman. At the end of chapter 2. And then going into 3, she gets tempted by the serpent. Okay, that's how it works. So the end of chapter 2, he's formed now the woman from the man. He's grafted her from him. So when we looked at man, he formed man from the dust. See, in the Hebrew, you have Bereshit, or bara, which create. And then in the creation, he creates something from nothing. So they said he created the male and the female, created he them, something from nothing. Bereshit, bara. Okay, and then when we get to he formed the man, that means he made him from something. So he forms the man from and fashions him from the ground. So I believe that Hebrew word is asah, if I'm not mistaken. I used to take Hebrew. I took about several years of Hebrew back in my high school years and some of my college years. So, but anyway, I'm just going off of my memory. Okay, so I said asah. He formed man, made him from something. So he shaped him, but his spirit form was created. But he was also made and clothed in a body made from the dust. And then he brings the woman on the scene. So the man has had contact with nature. He has contact with God. He has contact with agriculture, with the garden, with the animal kingdom. And now he's able to see the need for a helpmate. He's already been commanded what to do and what not to do. Now the woman comes and is grafted from him. He's grafted straight from the ground. She's grafted straight from him. So what does that mean? All you biblical people and you women pastors and you women preachers, sit your behind down and listen to this part right here. The woman was made for the man. I said made. Now they were both created. But the woman was made for the man. The man had his role and his responsibility at the time, and God gave him his job and crowned him with the crown of glory. And you could say mankind. If you want to go mankind, then that includes a bigger group. We can go there. We can say mankind, but for the most part, he was dealing with this individual man about his responsibility. Now he brings the woman along. And I don't see anywhere in those scriptures where God had told her not to do this or that. But I'm sure that the man sat down with that woman and told her, you can touch everything out here, but don't touch the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay? So He grafted her from him. He's already got his responsibilities, so all he needs to do is talk to her. Just like he's laid everything out with the animal kingdom and with the agriculture and with the garden and with nature. Now the woman becomes a companion to join him, but she is also coming on the scene to understand not only the same thing, nature, God, animals, and she has to understand his program. He had the program going before she came. Now, I said they were both created basically equally, but for some reason, God made the order that man was first, because man was made in his image. I'm talking about the male. He put him out there, and people want to say that this is a chauvinist cult Bible and all of this about it degrades women and stuff. You know what? I won't even waste any minutes speaking to that group that talks like that. But you're ridiculous. You're ridiculous, brother. Even if you have a PhD, I'm gonna just say that's ridiculous. And I'm not being disrespectful. I know why you're saying it, but I don't think you're looking at it in the way that I see it. Because I'll just say this much and I'll go on. Most of everything in here about that's associated with wickedness and men getting in the bad foothold with God, he's mostly talking about man. He's not talking about women all the time. He's talking about man will go to hell. Man will be destroyed and wiped off the face of the earth. Man this, man that. Man did this wicked king. He talked about this wicked king. This wicked King Nebuchadnezzar, or wicked, deceived kings, evil, wicked of his own Israel, wicked leaders, wicked people that do. He's talking mostly about men. Now, what makes you think he should give the woman a pass? She needs to put her part in too. So I say that's where I'm gonna leave that. But anyway, the man is on the scene. He already has. She needs to come and fall in line with his program. Period. She don't come in there writing her own ticket. Because if she does that, she's out of line and out of order with what he had already set up. Okay, so now she comes and she falls in with him. There's this harmony. They got to go. This is the first institution on the universe, is the union between man and woman. This is one of the most basic, fundamental first institutions in the basic budding of the family. The first union. He couldn't make union with the animals and nothing, so this woman is very important, a very important part of this plan. Okay, so now you got this institution called man and woman, marriage. You could just call it the institution of marriage or a union there. And now you got a partner to carry out the same plan that God had put in the first place. Deal with the garden, deal with this, deal with the animals, deal with the agriculture, deal with the trees, till the whatever you have to do, and be fruitful and multiply just like God told the animals. So everybody's doing their thing. Everybody's doing their thing. So this first institution I want to bring up is because of where we are today. If you look at where we are today, it's all turned upside down. It's all mixed up. Everybody, you would think man going forward that he would be advancing, when at the same time man is becoming more degenerate, and morally decaying, and declining, and dissolving. Okay, so man has this woman now. This is the first union, the first institution. And his responsibility to her is to give her her do's and don'ts as well. the same thing that applies to him applies to her. So she is nobody different than him. If he can't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, neither can she. But she does. She goes and listens to whatever, and she does it. For whatever reason, the serpent tempted her. He probably figured he couldn't go through that man. So he tempted her. She did it. Then she goes straight to this dude, this man, and he eats too. It didn't even sound like he even put up an argument. And that's when I knew that whatever God had told this man, why was it insignificant when she came to him? He should have said, man, you shouldn't have done that. Are you kidding me? Are you crazy? No, he went ahead and joined her. See? So she steps off, he steps off. He follows her. Okay? Then God comes. And in the story, you'll see him coming looking for him. I know he knew what happened. He didn't come to the serpent. He didn't come to her. He come looking for that man that he crowned with glory, that he put all things under his dominion, and he gave him a job and a responsibility. And then whatever happens in his care, God goes to the top person to ask what's going on. It's like if you're a general and you got a unit that you running in the army and something happens down there on the lower ranks, somebody coming to the top man, the Congress is going to probably come to the top man and say, what's going on in your outfit? What's going on in your unit? We put you over this. You better see to it that it's taken care of. So God had put that man in that responsibility for a reason. Okay? So all you people that want to say that man is equal to woman and that she has the same responsibility, I'm going to have to disagree with you on there, because when it comes down to the final days that we're going forward and we come down to meeting God and standing before him, these men are going to give an account for what they did not do, what they did not instruct right, and who they did not check when they were supposed to check, and who they let do what they wanted to do. You're going to be the one he's going to come to and say, what did you do in your house and why did you let this happen? Even if your children are out of order, he's going to come to you in that day and say, why are your children all strung out? Because that man is the key. His responsibility. He can't pass the buck to his oldest child. He can't pass the buck to his wife. That's his job. Now, if he wants to get help with it, that's still his job. If he wants somebody to give him a hand in something, it's still his responsibility. If he wants somebody to look at something and research something, it's still his responsibility. So all you brothers out there, all you ministers and you pastors are trying to pass off your responsibilities onto the woman, pass it off to her and make her fulfill, you're wrong. And you are creating confusion and you're disorder in the body of believers today. So there was an order from the beginning. We're not going to just talk about what the order was in the New Testament church. We talk about the order that he set up from the beginning. Tells you what you need to be doing. Just because man has stepped off and did his own thing doesn't mean God's order doesn't cease to exist. So, with your actions, you honor God. With your reactions, you honor God. With your mouth, you honor God. With your commandments, you honor God. With your way that you deal with your woman, you honor God. You keep him first. Okay? You keep his commandments first. If he says love your wives and take care of your wives, you keep that commandment first, because that shows that you respect God. You don't just tell a woman, I got to do what God got to do, and neglect her, push her around, beat up on her, cuss her out, talk crazy to her, kick her down, throw dust in her face, tell her to walk behind you. You don't do your woman like that. But you don't also let her become your king in your dominion, taking over your darn church, taking over your house, leading your children like you should be leading them, going out being the main breadwinner. Maybe she does make more money than you and stuff, but you still the head. But see, don't ever give that position up. And if she doesn't want you to have that position, she's not the right woman for you. Okay? I have to close here. My time is up. I may carry on a little bit of this in the next one. Peace, love, God bless you.